Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I'm Caitlin McKegg. I'm a real estate broker here in Phoenix, Arizona. It seems like you guys really liked my video last week where I went through the Cromford Market Index and the history of where we've been over the last 20 years to kind of understand where we might be going with all the changes in the market. And so this week, I wanted to do something similar, but let's do a look back to January of 2022, see where we started the year on a bunch of different factors, and then see where we're at today and how different things have progressed. So if you're new here, hit that subscribe button and the bell for notifications. I am here every Monday and Friday with a market update or talking about something having to do with the Phoenix real estate market or living in Phoenix. So make sure you subscribe, hit the bell for notifications, and thank you so much for coming. Everything I'm about to show you today is from the Cromford report, which I am a subscriber to. They are amazing in gathering a ton of data from the MLS, tracking that, and giving realtor subscribers tools to share with their clients. So let's start here. Let's look at active listings. So it's no surprise that listings have been coming to the market faster than before. I've been talking about that. And you can clearly see on this little yellow line here what's been happening with active listings. So where we sit today, and this is just a little bit dated, not all the data has been updated from at this time and once I posted this recording. So we're at about 8,900 listings, active listings currently, which we started the year at 5,700 and kind of hung around there for a while, and then listings went down, which is one of the reasons why we saw such kind of a crazy spring, because we didn't have a whole lot on the market, and then things shot up very quickly. Now, last year we did have an increase in active listings, but it was a much slower and gradual climb to get to 8,100. Today, we're above that, and we got there much quicker than we did last year. So this is definitely affecting the market as we continue to see more listings coming to the market. Buyers have more choices, fewer buyers looking for homes because of interest rates. So this is one of the main reasons we're seeing a big change. So let's also look at our days of inventory. So this is basically showing how many days of inventory we have. If no new homes came on the market for sale, we would be out of homes to sell in the Phoenix area in 27 days in this case. But we started the year at 19 days of inventory, then went down, just as we saw with the active listings, to 16 days. And now we're at 27 days, which is higher than we ever were at last year, even when we had our gradual climb, just like what we looked at with active listings. But this is definitely a big change when you compare where we were at last year at this time, 16 days of inventory. Now we're at 27. Again, starting the year much lower, and you can see this just totally broke off from the path last year, and we have a lot more. Let's just, for curiosity's sake, look at 2020. This was the pandemic, the start of all the lockdowns, so that was definitely an off pattern. We don't normally see that. 2019 will show us what things are a bit more normally. But I mean, we went back down in our active listings really quickly in 2020 after the shock of the pandemic and the lockdowns, and everything kind of settled a little bit as we got into the summer. So, this cannot really be compared to that spike, because this is clearly a different reason. So whether or not this goes back down is anyone's guess right now. So that's where we're at with days of inventory. Now, one of the things that starts to change as we see the market changing, a few of the indicators, and I've talked about this in previous videos, is first of all, we start to see our days on market increase. So that's one of the things I want to look at. And we also start to see list price reductions increase, which we're going to look at as well. And seller paid concessions to the buyer. So all of those things I have coming up. Let's look at days of our days on market here. So we're sitting at 9, about 9 right now. When we started the year back in January, let's see, the first week in January, says 18. I mean, that's because of the holidays. So truly, like, our first reading of days on market was about 8 probably. And so, you know, we haven't changed all that much, but you can see we went down to 7 for a good while when things have been crazy in March, February, March, and then started to spike up. We're climbing a little bit. So now we're up to 9. I would bet that the 9 stays there for a while. Maybe we start to see 10. I think this number is going to trend upward. You can also see our accepted contracts on a weekly basis. This is Christmas, so that always does that every year. But you can see, like, from where we started in January to where we're at right now is certainly a downtrend, right? Like, if you drew a straight line, that would take you right down to where we're at today. So things have gone up and down a little bit, which is how weekly contracts always looks when we measure that. But here we are around 2,000, which is lower than when we started the year around 2,400. So this shows us that there's much less contract activity or real estate activity going on out there because fewer people are getting under contract, or, you know, fewer people are out there actually buying homes is really what's happening. So now let's move on to price changes per week. So this is the list price reductions that I was mentioning. And, you know, you don't even need to look at the numbers to see this and realize that there has been a really big increase in list price reductions. So let's start here, January 9th, January 18th. This is probably a better place to start. But we're around 432 per week. So that's 432 listings did a price reduction that week. And we've clearly climbed quite a bit today. The most recent data, we're at 1496. So almost 1,500 listings had price reductions in the last week, compared to 400 and some back in January. So this is another indication that the market is changing, right? So sellers are listing their home and not getting the activity that they want. Maybe they priced it a little high. Maybe they priced it well and they thought it was going to sell, but there's something about it that buyers aren't interested in because they have some other options right now. So the seller decides to cut their list price. So this is a big change from January till now. You can definitely see that. Now let's look at the seller paid closing costs. This is the other thing that I said we'll start to see more of, or at least Cromford says we're going to start to see more of, and that's where I learned that information. So you can see this is starting to go up. However, if you look back in time, there is a little bit of a pattern here. So what'll be interesting to see is if this pattern continues to go up. And this is kind of the last indication that we'll see of the first 3 changes in the market. So this just may not be there yet, but right now, you know, you can definitely see that the percentage of seller paid closing costs has been increasing over the last couple weeks. So this will be something to keep an eye on, and we'll see if that'll continue to increase. Finally, let's just look at sales prices, right? No surprise here that this has gone up consistently. Today, we're sitting at a median sales price of $479,995. And we started the year in January at $437,400. So pretty big change between January till now because of everything that happened since then with really low inventory, and the market just went really crazy in the spring because of the low inventory and a big demand. And, you know, we tend to be busier in January, February, March because we have a lot of people that get out of the holidays and they're ready to go, whether they're selling, buying, whatever. We have a lot more activity. And so that's pretty normal, but it was just much more activity than normal and much fewer listings on the market to choose from. So that was pushing our prices up. So we've made some pretty big gains in our median sales price since the start of the year until now. So that's not surprising, but again, this will be something that we'll have to look at and see, because that may be leveling off. When we start comparing year over year, we may not see such big gains in this median sales price. And similar to this, let's look at our annual appreciation. So it's been high, but you can see that coming down just a little bit, 27% from when we were at 28%. I mean, minimal, right? But the last few years, all we've seen is really this line going up. Big appreciation gains, and here we are today starting to tick down a little bit. So another thing to watch, because I do expect this to come down a little bit, which is okay. Like, let's look back to some previous years here, 2019, 17, 16. I mean, this was much more normal, right? The 5% range, 6% range. That is what we typically expect for annual appreciation. And, you know, today we've been, all of last year, we were way up here and up here. So, you know, it's okay if we get back to a normal range of appreciation, but this is certainly starting to show that trend going back down and maybe out of the wild appreciation years. It's anyone's guess, but that's where it seems like we're going. So that's all I have for you guys today. I hope that was interesting to see how things have changed since January until now. We're almost halfway through the year, so it's kind of a cool thing, in my opinion, to look back and see how much things have changed. And we've certainly been on a wild roller coaster ride, really shooting off from the start and then kind of a halt, and we're trying to figure out where things are going now. So if you have any questions about the real estate market, if you're thinking about selling, it might be a really good time considering the changes that we're having going on. Check the description below. I have a link for an instant home valuation. And if you are buying a house, it also might be a good time because there aren't a whole lot of buyers out there because of interest rates. So your competition is lessening. But if you have any questions or if you need help buying or selling, you can reach out to me anytime by call, text, or email. All my info is in the description below. Thanks so much for coming to my channel and watching this video. I appreciate it so much. Don't forget to subscribe. I'm Caitlin McKeag with the Desert Dreamers team at HomeSmart.